So there was a game that released just last week that the internet went absolutely insane about. Stray, the cat game that is impossible to hate if you have any emotion at all. In Stray, you play as a cat that accidentally ended up in a destroyed city walled off from the outside world. Now, you, as a cat, came from the outside, so naturally, the goal is simple here. You gotta go back out there. But how in the world are you gonna do that? You're literally just a cat doing cat things with your cat brain. Luckily, close to where you fell into the city, there's someone stuck inside a computer that needs your help. And with your skills as a cat, you skillfully knock over a box and help them go from being stuck in a computer to being stuck inside a very small drone. The number on the drone is B12, and since he can barely remember anything, that's his name. B12 only knows that his goal is to free the city and open them up to the outside. Both of you have the same goal, so you team up, and so the game goes on. But what is the gameplay like, you ask? Well, you are a cat. What do you think you do? The biggest gameplay mechanic is literally jumping on things and finding your way around the city. Though you do get something to literally evaporate little creatures at some point. In a way, Stray can be called a puzzle game at its core, with the puzzle mostly being figuring out how the fuck you're gonna find your way to the place you need to go. Now, to be on top of a building, you gotta find your way up first. There are also some smaller puzzles thrown in there for good measure. You've got the usual find the code for the lock or save puzzles, and there are also collectibles to find and figure out how to get, and these collectibles are like puzzles of their own. Completing one of these quests, so to speak, will give you a badge. The funniest thing is, the way you solve these puzzles is, you guessed it, by being a cat. You knock down a painting to find a code hidden behind it, you meow to distract someone. These puzzle solutions are actually pretty clever and integrated well into the world that's been created. Ah, of course, the world. As I already said, the game takes place mostly within a walled-off city, and the city feels weirdly alive for being a dead city. One of the first places you reach are the slums. Here, the place is overrun by these things called Zurks. Luckily for you, there's a safe haven, run by robots? Yep, no humans here. The city is completely inhabited by robots. At first they see you as a Zurk, but after a closer look, they realize you're not dangerous at all. Though they still think you're a weird little guy. Now, these robots, they're great. Literally all of them have a name. Not that they are important at all, but it adds to the world, you know? Some robots actually do have a bigger role. Most of all, the robots that are part of the Outsiders. The Outsiders are robots that believe the outside is a place that must be reached. Anything better than the Zurk situation down in the slums. Wait, does that mean that there is a different place other than the slums? Well, yes, of course there is. Not the entire city is the slums. Up above the slums is a place called Midtown, and Midtown is the place with an exit according to the Outsiders. So, that's where you need to go. I have now gone over the first 2 hours of the game. The game is around 6 hours long. Personally, I don't really think Stray can be spoiled at all, but just to be sure, I'm gonna say that if you haven't played the game yet, stop the video here. Because the next part of the video is gonna be about the best things in the game, which are all past the slums area. Not that I don't like the slums, of course. Alright, so the way to Midtown is through the sewers. And the sewers are terrifying. Not because of actual danger, but because of the fucking eyes looking at you from the wall. So it does a really good job creating a feeling of unease here. Because B12 doesn't remember anything, and you are just a freaking cat. So you have no clue why there are eyes lining the wall. After a meeting with another outsider, you proceed towards Midtown. And Midtown has to be my favorite area in the game. It's the most busy looking city streets area in the game, and it's weirdly comfy. Walking around here as a cat is the most fun I have had in the game. Especially knocking people over by having them trip over me. The vibes are immaculate. And here you meet the best robot in the game, Clementine, an outsider. Clementine has a plan to escape the city. Sadly though, you both end up captured and put in jail. However, you are a cat, so escape is only a matter of time. After a daring escape, Clementine gives you the keys to the way out and goes off to distract the robot police from capturing you. You make it to the control room where you walk across some keyboards, you know, as cats do, and unlock the city, at the cost of B12. Oh yeah, he used to be human, by the way. You walk outside on your little cat paws, and the game ends there. Yes, the game is extremely short, but honestly, it's worth the price for being the best game out there right now that genuinely makes you feel like a cat. Knocking things over, jumping on literally everything. It's just a lot of good fun. There is a dedicated meow button. And having 2 cats myself, seeing the way the cat acts is also incredibly fun. I imagine the game would lose a lot of points if you are a dog person. Speaking of, I am genuinely surprised there were no dogs anywhere to be seen in the game. The only enemies in this game are the Zurks and the drones in Midtown. Coincidentally, these 2 enemies are on the opposite side of fun for me. The Zurks chase scenes were by far the most fun thing you got to do, even above actually evaporating the Zurks. Running around the streets as a cat, not exactly knowing where you're going, was scary, but also incredibly entertaining. And the drones in Midtown were always associated with stealth sections. Now they weren't bad by any means, but they were definitely not the highlight of the game. Now what was the point of this video, you ask? Honestly, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about Stray. Sorry if you expected anything useful out of this video. But if you did someone like me talking about this game with seemingly no reason, maybe subscribe? Well, that's it for me. Goodbye.